Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we'll be talking about Kali Linux, what it is, why we use it. As some of you may know, in my last video, I spoke of my laborious journey of failing and then passing the Pen Test Plus. If you haven't seen that video, please check it out. Many people in the field of information security, whether they're working on the offensive side or the defensive side, have likely used Kali. People who study for ethical hacking certificates will also be using and practicing with tools that are installed in Kali Linux, and will likely have a system with Kali installed. Now, Kali is not the only ethical hacking distribution that security testers can use. Some others are Parrot Security OS, Network Security Toolkit, Backbox, and BugTrack. In this video, we will be installing the new Kali release, the 2020.4, on VMware Workstation and running some follow-up commands. Let's get started. Before we install Kali, let's talk about how it got started. So it started way back in the early to mid 2000s, an evolution that took shape to deliver what is now known as the Kali Linux that we know and love today. Two initial platforms were built for auditing and security testing. Matt Aroni, a security researcher, developed WAPIX or WAX for security assessment, and Matt Mosier created a collection of tools based on NOPIX called the Auditor Security Collection that had over 300 tools. And these two distributions were merged to form BackTrack in 2006. Then in 2013, the pivotal platform rebuild and testing on Debian OS with package updates synced with Debian gave Kali the digital surgery that it needed for future growth and expansion. Kali Linux is one of the most popular ethical hacking and penetration testing distributions for people in cybersecurity. And this Linux distribution comes with an abundance of tools pre-installed. There are currently 600 tools pre-installed. It saves time to use this distribution rather than creating your own, and it's free. With this new release of Kali Linux, the Z shell, which is an extension of the Bourne shell, is now the default shell. It is similar to Bash shell and has support for themes and plugins. They also enhanced in this new release the Bash shell, and in their release notes they mentioned additional partnerships with tool authors like Marcelo Salvatore, aka Bytebleeder. The new release offers packaging guides on how to get your security tools into Kali, and you'll find new tools and updates to existing tools, NetHunter updates, and what's even more is the Kali desktop experience for Windows subsystem for Linux. Yes, you can install Kali now on Windows, on the Windows subsystem for Linux. Kali has come a long way. So Kali Linux installation and run options are varied. As I mentioned on the previous slide, Kali Linux can now be installed on a Windows machine on the Windows subsystem for Linux without the need for a virtual machine or dual booting. David Bombal has a great tutorial on his YouTube channel on how to install Kali on the Windows subsystem for Linux. So you can check that out. And then you can also install Kali on bare metal. You can run live installations that boot directly from a flash drive, a CD, or an external SSD. You can install Kali as a virtual machine inside of VirtualBox or VMware Player, or and both are free. Even VMware Player is free. Kali can also be installed on devices with ARM architecture. ARM processors are used in consumer electronics and are more compact and have a reduced instruction set. So Kali can be installed on things like Asus Chromebook Flip, BeagleBone Black, QBox, Gem PDA, Odroid, Raspberry Pi, and USB Armory. For Kali, you can use OVA or an ISO. OVA stands for Open Virtual Appliance. You can use a Kali OVA file as a virtual appliance and import it into your virtualization software that you'll be using on your host operating system. And aside from implementing some security best practices like changing the default password for root, establishing a non-admin user account, as well as changing the default SSH keys, the OVA is ready to run as is. Or you can control the installation by installing Kali via an ISO image into your virtualization environment. So let's do the install. So we're going to go ahead and download the media, the installer file of Kali from the downloads page. Here it's the Kali Linux 64-bit installer. You'll notice that they do publish a hash. A file hash is generated by running data, in this case a file, through a hashing algorithm, and this is the result, this hash. The hash from a known good file can then be used to verify the integrity of a file that you download by comparing its hash against the original, and that's what we'll be doing. We'll be verifying this hash with the hash of our Kali download, and we're going to use PowerShell to do that. I wrote a PowerShell script. I copied the hash that was published on their site. I'll put that in here. This basically says store the known good hash into this variable here, Kali says file hash, and then the downloaded file that I've downloaded is right here in my C drive under downloads, and this is the name of the file. I have that path right here, and we're getting the file hash from this path that I downloaded the ISO to, and then we're using the SHA-256 algorithm because that is actually the one that they publish on their site. So then it goes into if the known good hash up to upper, so I converted both strings to upper so that we could compare them, and if they match, it'll show both of them in green, and then if it doesn't match, it'll show the known good hash in green, and then the hash that does not match that we downloaded in red. So let's try to run that now. It should show up green, and then I will. It takes a few seconds to run. Okay, there, that one matched. Now I'll show you what happens. I'm not going to change this known good value. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put another file in its place, just to show what would happen if, so I'm just going to take it back up. I'm just going to rename that to back, and then I am going to take this name of this file. We'll name it the same thing, but I'm going to rename the VMware Player exe to the Kali ISO, and I'll show you what happens when we try to run, even though it's named the same, the file is named the same thing. I'll show you what happens when we keep the known good hash the same, but we have actually changed the contents of this file. I'll go ahead and run it right now. See, this file right here, it produced a completely different hash than the Kali file, and so that would not be a match. This was a match. So what I'll do is I will just I'm going to delete this VMware since I already installed it, and I will rename it. And let's see what happens if we, I'll show you how we could actually rename this file, and it's still, I'll rename that file, just change the name of it. Sorry. So I'll show you what happens when we rename the file. So I renamed it here. I am going to take this and just, I'm going to put the name, the new name in here, because if we don't, the program won't find it. So we're going to see that even if we rename the file name, if it's a good file, it will generate the same hash. So we should see it come up green and green, and the hash value should be the same. Remember, the contents of the file is the same. It's just the file name that's changed. So you'll see the hash comparison. And there we go. There we go. Okay, now we're ready to use the ISO to install into Debian 10. I would like to call this out right here. The network connection connected directly to the physical network. If you select that, your virtual machine will have full access to your home network or the network that you set this up on. There can be security issues if you give your Kali machine full participation in the network. One resource that you don't want to forget is this free book entitled Kali Linux Revealed, and it's offered for free download through the kali.org website. On Amazon, you can purchase a hard copy. At the time of this video, it was about $26 new, 22 used, and this book is not a book about hacking, ethical hacking, or using tools, or how to root a system. It's a one reviewer says it's not a hacking book. You won't learn about pen testing or Metasploit. This is a book to help you get familiar with Kali Linux OS, which is pretty important if you plan on using it every day. So another reviewer said to consider it an official, insightful manual of the distribution and not the tools themselves. It's applicable to any Debian-based distribution. And one reviewer also highly recommended the book to learn the administration and maintenance of Kali Linux. It does go step by step, so it has instructions on installation, setup, and then one user said, I highly recommend this book to learn the administration and maintenance of Kali Linux. So yes, don't forget this great resource. It's free. Okay, now let's talk about industry growth. Is pen testing going away? The answer is no. The need for pen testing continues to grow. According to industry reports, the global penetration testing market size is projected to grow from 1.7 billion in 2020 to 4.5 billion by 2025. Now, these are some trends emerging, like companies who have started to automate the penetration testing process for their clients in order to reduce cost and to increase consistency. This doesn't, however, take away from the need for security professionals who must understand how to conduct manual tests. So it's a nice manual testing is a nice complement to an automated pen test. There are certain things that will still be helped by creativity, some decision-making expertise that might not be able to be automated by certain platforms. So if you're a defender, though, you'll really appreciate how to use penetration testing distributions like Kali, and how the use of that can help you develop your detection and response capability. So penetration testing isn't just useful for the offensive side and conducting red team assessments and security testing assessments, but it can also be used by defenders who want to produce certain log outcomes to see what certain attacks will look like, so that they're able to make sure that they can detect them. I hope you've enjoyed my latest video. Please click like and subscribe. Also, I'm interested in hearing from you. Do you use Kali? What other security distributions have you enjoyed using? Please drop a comment below.